save the talking award to the end after everything we've heard. It truly is humbling, Bill. You know, you said to stand here in front of legends and the people that built this industry is absolutely awe-inspiring and humbling. And they say if you have 5 people in your life that you can call a close friend, that you are blessed and you're extremely fortunate. But imagine how fortunate I am tonight when 3 of those people are in this room. One of them is John Layfield. The other is my ride or die, love till the end of time, Gerald Briscoe. Please don't take me down on stage. And Conrad Thompson. Now, I grew up in Texas, mainly Houston, but I started, God bless Texas, right. But started in El Paso. And for those of you, when you think back of the very first time, what made you fall in love with this business? What made you go, hey, I want to be there. I want to be that guy in the ring. I remember it distinctly. Watching Amarillo TV, played in El Paso, and Terry Funk was being attacked by the Von Brauners. And they had a pair of scissors and they were cutting his ear off. I sat at the kitchen table and I watched this in awe and I cried for my mother to please call the police, call somebody, they want help, they need help, Terry Funk needs help. She says, oh honey, it's that they did that a long time ago. It's not happening right now. Many years after that, I was 16 years old, had a bum knee, and I'm giving Terry Funk a ride to his hotel. And I tell Terry that story about that particular moment in my life that changed my life. And he looked at me and goes, Prichard, my father beat my ass that night because I didn't sell enough. I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting the backstory now. And I'm telling Terry about my knee and my problems. He says, Prichard, whatever you do, don't get surgery. I'm like, what? He says, I've had 14 knee surgeries. Once the bastards go in, they keep coming back. So 16 years old, I told my mom, no way, no surgery for me. Because Terry Funk said. Oh my God, that's the way it was. But I grew up in Houston, and promoter Paul Bosch. And I remember early on the Johnny Valentine, Wahoo McDaniel, Thunderbolt Patterson. You have no idea how much you affected me when you turned heel and you teamed with Toro Tanaka. And I cried, but at the same time, you told the story why. And that's what we do. And I will never, ever forget Thunderbolt Patterson turning heel and becoming King T-Bolt. And I stole so much from you throughout my careers, Brother Love. You will never know. But I was just, you know, a kid. I wanted to be a wrestler. That's all I wanted to do, ever in my life. That was my dream. And by God, I was going to do it. I've had the fortunate experience to pretty much do it all in the business. From promoting, writing, wrestling, just everything under the sun. Very fortunate to still be involved in the business and to have an active hand. So I've actually lived my dream. But you know, there was a time, you know, I've also had my dream ended, been fired twice by the WWE. You're fired.
That's right.
Real quick, I'm sorry. First time I got fired, I told Vince a story. We were booking with Ernie Ladd and Bill Watts in Oklahoma. Oklahoma, and Ernie Ladd is telling Bill about Vince and the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov, and Ernie is going, Bill, you gotta listen to him. Vince McMahon is a genius. He's got Nikolai, he's got the Iron Sheik, they're real. Vince McMahon is a genius, he fired my ass, he's a genius. First time I got fired, Vince says to me, Bruce, in the mortal words of Ernie Ladd, I fired myself. I said, your ass is fired. Came back, got fired again. You know, dabbled here and there, did things, but I left the business last time. I thought I was done, 2008, thought I was done. Dabbled here and there, but by the time 2015 came around, the business didn't want me, and I didn't want the business. I was done. Nobody wanted to touch me with a 10-foot pole. And I get a call. Ric Flair says, hey man, this guy, you know, you should meet, you should talk to. His name's Conrad Thompson. I meet Conrad, spend some time with him. I look around at his mansion on a mountain with his pool, his 18 Rolls Royces. Just kidding. But I said, hey man, what do you do? Because I help people. I sell mortgages. And you got all this? And he took me in. I didn't know anything about mortgages, but I did know that the passion that I had for the wrestling business, I had no way to fulfill it. And we went to work together in the mortgage business, helping him do commercials, do different things. And I spent a lot of time with him. We shared a love of the business. He would ask me questions, and believe it or not, I talk a lot. Rock, you stole 90% of my stuff. But, you know, we would talk a lot, and I would tell stories. When I tell stories, I do voices. Someone who doth the road, right down the road, being the thick and most recognizable athlete in the world. I gotta do the voice. Macho man Randy Savage, you gotta do the voice, huh? And he starts telling me about, Bruce, you should share these stories. I said, no way. It's my life. It was personal to me. It was inside. Nobody deserved to be inside. He says, no, just tell them like you're telling me. Make it fun. You should do a podcast. I had no idea what a podcast was. None. And he's like, we'll get on, we'll tell stories. I'd done a couple of guest spots on Rick's podcast and things like that, and I saw the pain that it was to get a guest every week. I said, man, no, I don't want to find 52 guests a year. He said, no. You do it. We'll do it together. Just tell stories. And we told stories. Played around in the living room, a couple microphones, taped it, put it out. The guy says, you guys be able to pay a few bills, we'll sell some ads. All right, paid a couple bills. 2 months into it, we exploded. We went from like 60,000 listeners to 385, over 1 million. Exploded. I remember at one point, the big boys didn't want to talk to us, and they said, you guys gotta have big boy numbers. And Conrad sends an email to the head of Earwolf and says, hey, here are our numbers. Big boy enough for you? And we got a guaranteed deal. Now, to tell you a little bit about who Conrad is. Conrad, like me, was a fat kid that just loved wrestling. He did. He wanted to be one of the nasty boys. He dressed up as a nasty boy for Halloween. He loved it. We shared that in common. We could have been brothers, but really I'm old enough that I could be his dad. But I was not in Gunnersville in any time. Larry, his mom and dad are here tonight, so But I was not Gunnersville, Alabama to make that. And we can't prove it, that's all I'm saying. But my relationship, other than doing a podcast, was I had lost confidence in myself. Didn't know who the hell I was. And he believed in me. And more importantly, he made me believe in me. And took us to a place, made me do things that I didn't want to do. Hey man, sell t-shirts. Somebody buys a shirt, call them and thank them. What? I did. It worked. We did things that were unconventional. Everybody in the business told us what not to do. It's guest driven. Don't ever go over an hour, and whatever you do, man, don't curse. I've never had a guest. Our average time of our podcast was 3.5 hours at the time, and we cuss like sailors. And it blew up. Conrad dropped out of college. His parents had a rainbow vacuum cleaner. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's the door-to-door, high-end vacuum cleaners. You know the guy, remember I Love Lucy, that walk in, they threw the dirt on the floor, and they show you how that vacuum cleaner can clean your rug better than any vacuum cleaner in the whole wide world. And he did it better than anybody. But then he saw a guy that sold mortgages. He says, will you teach me how to do that? He learned how to do that, bought the company, and turned it around. Now, I don't have any clue how many mortgage companies that he owns now, but he was able to take something that had been out there and completely flip it on its ear. The podcast world was wild, wild west. And we didn't tame it, we made it a little wilder. And he took guys from Ric Flair to Jim Ross to Tony Schiavone to Eric Bischoff, and the list goes on and on about the people that he has continued to give an opportunity for people to tell their stories in a unique way, continue to be relevant. Words cannot describe this man. I went bankrupt in 2011, and I lost everything. And Conrad making me believe in myself. Conrad getting me back out in the world, of the world that I loved. And able to get me back doing what I love to do, in the business that I love. Paul Bosch had a plaque on his house. It says, welcome to the house that wrestling built. Conrad got that plaque from Paul's house. And my house is paid for in Connecticut, and that plaque is right above the door. I can't thank him enough. And there's a lot of things, I mean, words can't begin to explain the gratitude that I have for this man. Some people call him Connie. Some people call him the pot. I call him my friend, Conrad Thompson.